The biggest mistake most people make is thinking that they have to learn more stuff to be able to finish quality music. So you might be thinking to yourself that you just need to learn more ways to make music. You just need to learn more production strategies, more mixing techniques. Then your music will be good enough to finish. It'll be good enough to share. It'll be good enough for you to feel satisfied with. This is a huge mistake. And I get it. Everyone tells you that you have to learn everything first before getting that pro sound that you're after with your music. So it's super easy to fall into that trap. But let me ask you, does everybody who spends all their time learning tricks, tips, and techniques about making music actually produce professional sounding tracks? Did all of your favorite artists, musicians, and producers go to school or waited to learn more before they started doing what they do? No way. And you could actually never finish anything that sounds amazing if you hold on to that belief. So how do you get amazingly composed music and a pro sound? Number one is to stop comparing yourself to others. A huge part of the reason why you might be thinking that you need to learn more about X, Y, and Z, be it music theory, production techniques, mixing stuff, to make great music is because you're comparing yourself to your favorite artists and your favorite tracks. Hate to break it to you, but nobody starts out a black belt. I'm actually a black belt in Taekwondo, so I can speak from experience. And it took many, many years of consistent effort and focus to get to that level. And the simple truth is this: nobody starts out a black belt. Everybody starts at the beginning, and nobody can take any shortcuts. And I know this might be hard to hear, but I don't want you to fall in the trap in thinking that you can shortcut the process of taking consistent action over time to get to the level that you want to get to. And what we would recite at the beginning of every class is this: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. Are you going to wait before facing an opponent until you're the best in class? Will that save you from the inevitability of getting defeated? No way. However, over time, you start to realize that the only true opponent that you have is yourself. And the only measure of progress that you should be concerned with is yourself today versus yourself yesterday. As long as you are 1% better, a tiny bit better than you were yesterday, you win. Without this mindset, you are doomed to fail, not taking action and not hitting your goals and failing your true potential of what you're capable of. There have never been any great martial artists who haven't gotten their butt whooped, and the same goes for artists. No great artists that you look up to and admire have not faced great challenges and pushed through them. That's what makes you better. If you're giving up on finishing a song because it's not as good as X artist, you are facing the wrong opponent. If you're expecting your first songs to be amazing, you're hurting yourself with your expectations. The only way to grow is to accept yourself as you are right now and where you are, and stretch your abilities from where you are right now. Number two is learning by doing. And this is a huge one in today's day and age. And it sums up to this, is that information does not equal knowledge. Okay, so if we spend all of our time watching tutorials, reading books, watching other people's process, taking notes, learning, all of this stuff is information, but it is not knowledge. All right, so what's the difference between information and knowledge? Well, knowledge comes from experience. When you take information that you've learned and you put it into practice and you see how it works and you start to notice connections with other things you learn, you embody that information, then it turns into knowledge that you can draw upon in your future experiences when you pop into the studio. However, if you just rely on filling your head full of information and facts and tips and tricks and techniques without putting them into action, you won't be able to draw upon them in the battlefield of your studio when you're in the heat of the moment creating. So you're much better off taking a little bit of information and directly taking action upon it and learning the ins and outs of it as much as possible through your own experience. And I assure you that if you do that over overloading yourself with information, that you will embody that knowledge and you will know it. It will be in your subconscious mind. It will be in your muscle memory if you're practicing something like that. And it'll be so much easier for you to draw upon that when you need it, as opposed to trying to remember facts and piece it together in the heat of the moment. All right, another component of this is that a solution without a problem is a distraction. So let me elaborate on this. So a solution could be anything. It could be learning a new mixing trick. It could be looking at a new production technique, a new way to generate ideas to compose a song. Those are all solutions. But to what problem? What problem are you trying to solve by seeking out all of this information? I'm surprised at how many people don't ask themselves this question, because in the sea of information that is the internet, it is so easy to overload with this new technique, with this new approach, with this new tool. But what problem are we solving? All right, because if we do not articulate the problem that we are solving, the problem you're facing, the obstacle that you're trying to overcome, you're going to drown in solutions. You're going to be trying all these different things without really realizing what you're trying to solve. So for example, if your problem is that you're having difficulty arranging tracks that are engaging, that really impact the listener and that you're satisfied with, what would you be doing looking at mixing tutorials or compression techniques, right? Because you could spend a long time learning about all sorts of things under the sun, but never address the core problem that's holding you back from moving forward. So to sum all of this up, 80% of your efforts on making music, 20% of your efforts on learning new things. Number 3 is focusing on finishing music. All right, your music is your best teacher. Okay, and why is this? Because embedded within it is your strengths, your weaknesses, and most importantly, what you should focus on next. All right, because if you listen back to your music and you realize, I don't know, I don't really like how this sounds. Well, that gives you some ideas as to what to focus on, what to improve to get it closer to something that you like or something that you love or that you're excited about. On the flip side, if you're overwhelmed as to, I don't know what to focus on, there's so much going on, listen to your music and identify what are the biggest problems or the things that you think you could improve about your music. And there's your list as to what to focus on next. And it came from listening to your music, because your music is connected to your current skill level and what you have to improve next. Searching on YouTube or scrolling on your phone and all of these different tips and tricks and tutorials and techniques and approaches that you're bombarded with day after day, how relevant are all of those things to what you're doing right now with your music? All right, so it just helps you cut through the noise and get to the brass tacks of what we need to focus on to get your music to the next level, to be more satisfied with the quality of your music and get it to that pro sound. All right, another reason why focusing on finishing your music is the best approach to increase the quality of your music and bridge that gap between where you'd like your music to be and where it is right now is because focusing on finishing music actually develops all of the skills you need to make great music. All right, it involves idea generation, developing motifs, arranging a song, making it compelling, adding dynamics, automation, editing, mixing, mastering is all contained within finishing a piece of music. And finishing a piece of music will help you develop all of those skills at the same time in a relevant context with each other. Because at the end of the day, all of these various skill sets in music production serve the purpose of making great music. And if we isolate these different skills too much, then we're separating them from something that should be holistic and connected. So for example, if you're spending all of your time learning about mixing techniques like EQ and multiband compression and saturation and compression techniques and layering techniques and automation tricks, all that stuff, but you still don't know how to arrange a compelling piece of music, it will be all for nothing. Because when we arrange a piece of music, even when we start selecting the sounds in the beginning parts of the process, that will influence your mix more than any technique will at the end of the day. However, in the context of finishing a piece of music, you're going to use the relevant mixing techniques and pieces of information that you've learned that suit the song you're working on, and you can put it into action. Instead of just learning all of this information, you can apply it to a context that's relevant to you moving forward, aka finishing your song, finishing more music. And you might be thinking that I don't want to finish music that doesn't sound up to par. I don't want to finish stuff that doesn't sound pro quality like my favorite artists. I don't want to release haphazard creations upon the world. And I totally get that. And you don't have to release everything you finish. Right? By removing the pressure of having to release every piece of music that you finish, it just allows you the space and to gain the benefit of finishing music and refining your skills and developing your abilities in the context of finishing stuff. and you don't have to worry about releasing it if you're not satisfied with the song or the quality, but you still gain the benefit of finishing something and refining all of your skills at the same time. And here's a pro tip for you. If you focus on finishing more music than you intend to release, let's say you finish 20 songs and you release 5 songs, those 5 songs will be so much better than if you just focused on finishing and releasing 5 songs from the beginning. So let me ask you, do you want to keep thinking that you have to overload your head full of information to finish music and never get anything done? Or do you want to learn and grow through making music and achieve the quality that you've always been looking for with your music? So if you'd like to curb stomp your fear and punch perfectionism right in the face, I've created a super easy to follow 7-step framework that helps you go from your very first ideas all the way to a finished master, all while helping you focus on taking action and develop your own unique sound and way of doing things, your own workflow. So if you're interested in grabbing that, you can find it in the description below. If you got value out of this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to stay in tune for the next Metamind Music transmission, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let me know, have you fallen into the information trap of just learning more and more information without putting it into action? Or are you an action taker that takes action above everything else, even in the face of uncertainty and not really being sure, you still take action? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video.